Hey everybody, it's Dalton. I'm a little foggy this morning, so I'm gonna start here across from the ramp, and I'm just gonna do some cranking down along this wall. I'm gonna go back in this cove and see what's going on. I've kind of ignored this cove, so kind of glad the fog's here. Come fishing with me. I'm probably gonna throw a few things today. That didn't take very long. That was only, I think, my third cast. So I already got one. That's good. Go ahead and start the morning off with the old Spro rock crawler. Just kind of get it going, a little fatty. These bass are going to be around these rocks because a lot of these spotted bass, that's where they just, that's where they like to spawn. I'll tell you one thing, when they want this bait, they flat out take it. This is a really nice bass right here. This is a nice one. Yeah. Good chunky one here. I'm just throwing a trick worm. That's the second bite in 2 casts on this trick worm. Nice, healthy, spawning bass. Beautiful fish. I'm just setting this up, twitching it along just like a little jerk bait. And I tell you what, like I said, 2 casts in a row. Missed the first one, likely a smaller one. That one there just flat out took off with it. I think it looks a lot like a little night crawler in the water. This is a green pumpkin with blue flake zoom trick worm. I got it set up on a 3/0 extra wide gap hook, 8-pound test line. And all I'm doing is throwing it out, giving it little twitches, and it kind of darts. It's almost like a jerk bait. And just watch your line. They just take off with it. Very subtle how they take this bait. Sometimes you don't feel them, you just start reeling and there they are. And it's just a super duper cool way of getting a bite. I'm gonna have to get my pliers and get this out of here because he got it down there pretty deep, but throw that floating worm, man, it'll catch you some fish. So guys, this particular technique, which is commonly referred to as a floating worm, is likely one of the best spawning baits you can do. This is a margarita special. I plan on getting out there next week. I was gonna go this week, but I went ahead and stayed here. But this is a bait that I use from this time of the year all the way through the summer, particularly out at Margarita, because you can get this bait, you know, in the weeds, and it's virtually weedless. So what I do is I just take these Zoom trick worms. I got tons of these things. And I just kind of bite just a little bit of the head off. I'll show you how I rig this. So this is a 3/0 extra wide gap hook, Gamakatsu. And what I do is I'm going to come through the head here, and I'm going to go about halfway on the shank. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to turn this worm, I like about 1/4 of an inch above the hook there. And then I just Texas rig it. Go ahead and Tex pose it. So it's like that. And all I do is just twitch this thing along real slow. I let it sink real slow, then I give it a twitch or two. Sink, a twitch or two. If it's shallow, I'll let it sit on a rock or on top of a bush or something and just slightly twitch it. And you'd be surprised how many bites you're going to get with this. Now the smaller one's going to grab the tail, so you're going to miss some of them. But if they start getting up to around 1.25 pounds and up, they'll go ahead and attack the head, and you'll get them hooked most of the time. The only thing I warn you about this technique is sometimes they're going to swallow it. So the last fish, he got it down in his throat. So what I do when that happens, if I can't get it out without hurting the fish, I take a pair of wire cutters and I will cut all the way down to where there's barely any hook left. If I can pull it out, I do. If not, I'll leave it there because it'll eventually rust out, but it won't obstruct his eating. So that's how I do that. It's a fun technique. I just think it looks like a worm, like a night crawler, just twitching around in the water. And I tell you, I have caught so many fish. Out of Margarita, I've caught them up to about 6.5 pounds on this technique alone. So the big ones will definitely go after it. I caught this one down around 20 feet. He bit it fast. So these fish are hyper aggressive. I mean, I'll reiterate it, the fishing is fantastic out here. This is just such a great time of the year to fish. These fish are so aggressive. And even though this is a Ned rig, this is a nice fish for a Ned rig. Yeah. Nice spotted bass. Got him on a little Ned rig here. I brought this out here to hit some of the deeper water because as I go by my 2D sonar, I can see some of them down there. So I put it on a 1/6 ounce jig head, Z-Man jig head. This is called a Z-Man Bug Z. Looks just like a little bug. And that's the one thing about the springtime, you're going to have all these little bugs in the water. Some of these beetles that actually get down and swim in the water. And these bass will just eat the heck out of them. What I'm doing here is I am literally throwing the kitchen sink at these fish. I've caught them on floating worm, Ned rig, crankbait, back to a chitterbug, Texas rigged. Kind of showing you guys how I fish out here. Instead of isolating, gosh, these are beautiful fish. They deserve a kiss. Oh yeah, that's a spawner. I'm just kind of showing you guys how I fish out here. I pretty much know what I want to rig up. I get it all rigged up, get it ready. And as soon as I hit the water, I'm ready to go. I got a good idea based on the time of year what's going to work, where it's going to work. I know these bass are in the rocks for sure. That's 100% because that's where I'm catching them. And that's where these old spotted bass, they love to get in these rocks and spawn. That was a nice bite right there. Another Ned rig fish here. Come here, come here. I got it. Perfect hook sets, man, right in the top of the mouth. Another pretty one here. So what I do is I look at these points, rocky points. I'm not throwing this in the rock. I already know I'm gonna get hung up. Throwing it on outside, a little bit deeper, a little bit heavier weight. You'll get down there and get them. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You kind of see how I fish out here. What I do is I go through my little regimen of baits. The 4 I used today, you know, they all caught fish, but it seemed like that floating worm got me a little bit better ones. But even the Ned rig was catching some pretty good ones. The Texas rig craw bait, and of course in the mornings when I have that low light condition, that crankbait's been working really good. Right now I'm going to go back here. I haven't been back here in a long time. I'm in the river end. I'm just going to kind of goof off back here, see if I can find some crappie or some more bass. But Hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you next time.